Hey everyone, I just wanted to make a quick video going over the skills as a DK tank and some of the uses I've personally been shown or have learned myself through tanking over the past couple of years. So first, as regarding skills, I set my front ball up like this. Before I begin anything, the way you set your front ball up or back ball for say is really up to you. It just depends on what you're looking for to do and what you are spending time on which ball doing. For example, if this is your buff ball or this is your survivability ball. Before I say anything else, when you ball swap as a tank, you drop block. For example, right now, I am blocking and I ball swap, that goes away. If you see that little shield, it goes away when I switch. So that is something you want to keep in mind when setting up your balls. I have this messed up right now, let me fix this. So my typical ball setup, if I'm just going into any dungeon, vet dungeon or vet trial, this is typically how I have my ball set up. My front ball, I always have absorb magic on my front ball. This is the ball I spend all my time on. This is the ball I'm blocking with 85 to 90% of the fight. Very self-explanatory with this one. The block increase of 8% and the cost of blocks reduction by 8% is just massive. 8% is a lot. It doesn't seem like a lot, but it is the difference between dying and not dying. Really imperative to resource management. Just look at it this way. If it costs 100 stamina to block this cost, you have this on your ball, it costs 92. Simple math. Not just that, it's got a nice shield for magic based damage, and it also heals a percentage. A good example is White Gold Tower, last boss. Or, excuse me, not White Gold Tower, Imperial City Prison, last boss. Does a series of magic attacks, aka sometimes called the machine gun or Rakat and Maw. It blasts a series of magic abilities, and this is actually in Vet Maw. This is how you survive the machine gun, using this because a percentage of it is healing you, and it absorbs 18,000 damage from that. So that's huge. Our main burst heal, Green Dragon Blood. This is the morph you want because this one is the heal is based off of your missing health. So the lower your health is, the bigger the heal, and this will keep you alive. So this is what keeps you alive. And it also costs stamina, which is amazing because when you're blocking, that costs stamina. Your stamina is not regenning, your magic's regenning, thus you can hit this more often. Then I have Unrelenting Grip. This is what sets DK apart from other races as far as or classes, whatever you want to call it. This sets you apart from the rest. This is our main ad control. On top of that, it's just a free Major Expedition, which is great because Major Expedition just helps you move around a little bit quicker. And then you really want this morph, I would really suggest the Unrelenting Grip morph because of the fact that the target cannot be pulled. For example, some bosses, the way I figured it out, and I may be wrong on this, but the way I figured out, if an ad is over a certain size, it cannot be pulled. And so it's returned the cost 100%, so it's free. You don't really do it for the damage. Any damage you do as a tank is beside the point. You don't focus on that, so don't ever worry about damage if you are going for in-game. You don't want damage. Well, I mean, if you do damage, you do damage, but that's not your focus, and it should not be your focus as an in-game tank. Then our main taunt and our main debuff. This is what separates the Sword and Board from the Ice Staff. Ice Staff does not have a way to put Major Fracture and Major Breach on the target while blocking. You can cast this while blocking. I have nothing to attack right now. I should be at a dummy or something, but you can cast this while blocking. This is your major taunt. Then the bread and butter of a DK, and in my opinion, well, my favorite skill, and in my opinion, one of the best skills for a DK tank to have. So Igneous gives you many things. It gives you a shield that used to give you a much bigger shield, but it gives you a shield based off of your health and takes in a couple other things in consideration. and your damage shield is your damage shield is increased by 200%. So it's a shield is a shield that's going to keep you alive. That's more damage mitigation. But not just that, is it gives the group a shield. So stacked fights, the group is taking a lot of damage. You hit this, and it's not only assisting you, it's helping the group as well. It's also a source of major mending. So for 3 seconds, which is huge. So right now, the tooltip says Green Dragon Blood heals for 37%. I'm going to hit this, activate major mending. Now it's 46%. 50% of whatever missing health I'm at. So if I'm at 1k health, I'm going to jump all the way up to 15, 16k health. Just like that, which is amazing. Also, Igneous activates a passive in Earthen Heart called Helping Hands. Every time you activate a Earthen Heart ability, you restore 990 stamina. So let's say 1,000 stamina for conversation's sake. Every time I hit this, that's 1,000 stamina. This is helping with stamina recovery. Even because when you block, any stamina you receive is nice, because when you drop block, you risk getting one shot. Heavy attack, you risk getting one shot, but heavy attack is your main source of returning stamina. So that's Igneous Shield. And then your front bar, ultimate. Some people run Barrier on front bar, some people run Shield Discipline, some people run Magnum Shell. It's really your preference. I run Aggressive Warhorn on my back bar because I like my front bar ultimate it just helps me to maintain, gets a little bit more magic recovery from the passive in support. Yes, my support is 8, very close to 9. I've just been lazy and have not got it up. But with 8, it gives me 5% magic recovery just for having it on my bar, and that bumps up to 10% when I'm ranked 9. Not just that, is Barrier is a really nice group utility. And let's say a healer goes down, or we're taking more damage than we should, or something's going on, we got people overcharges in the group, whatever it may be, and it's a little bit cheaper than Warhorn, so you can get it off quicker if an emergency situation. It's just nice to have for some panic situations, for rezzing, for other things. You know damage is coming, and you know some people won't survive, so you tap that. You want to pump out Warhorn when all that possible, but there's always situations. My back bar, Aggressive Warhorn on the back bar. To go through some of the other ultimates you can use, Magnum Shell. I use Magnum Shell on the front bar, and just crazy situations. This is you're invincible for 11 seconds essentially. So I would highly suggest when you begin tanking to really, especially in game, to have this paired with Warhorn, so you can stay alive. First and foremost, that is your goal as a tank, to stay alive. Always remember that. Don't let people tell you otherwise. A dead tank is no tank. No tank means bosses running around chopping people's face off. So when at all possible, pump out Warhorn. If you need to stay alive, especially when you're learning, hit Magnum Shell, hit Shield Discipline, but try not to get in the habit of always hitting that. So these are two of the big, if I'm using any other ultimate, it's really only these two. The Shield Discipline is really nice because it reduces the cost. This is the morph of the one-handed shield ultimate. Reduces the cost of your one-handed shield abilities to 0. So they don't cost anything, which is really nice. Back to the rest. So then we have Heroic Slash. Some people run Heroic Slash and Pierce Armor on the front bar together. I like it on the back bar because in oh crap moments, I'm not hitting Heroic Slash. Oh crap moments, I'm hitting Green Dragon Blood, or I'm puncturing, I'm doing something else. So that's why I personally run Heroic Slash on the back bar. Also, I will run Echoing Vigor. This is not a personal heal. This is a group heal. This is a group utility. So if I'm good on stamina and I'm just kind of hanging out holding boss, or I'm just picking up reses waiting to, just debuffing boss, building ultimate, I'm going to hit this every now and then, give the group some utility, give the group some healing. And this is also buffed by Major Mending, which is given by Igneous Shield. So it's just nice to have. Echoing just gives it bigger. It's a bigger radius. Our main source of Major Resolve and Major Ward, which is Hardened Armor. I like Hardened Armor because of the shield that it gives, 15% of my max health for 3.5 seconds. A shield is a shield, like I said before. It's going to help mitigate damage. Mitigating damage means staying alive. Staying alive means doing your job. Then we have Inner Fire. Inner Fire is a range taunt. It is a form of, it is what I call a hard taunt. I don't know if that's a thing, but that's what I call it. That means if someone has aggro on the boss, this is going to taunt over them. So this means if a tank just poked the boss, and then you need, for example, twins on Rakat, this you have to have this. You taunt the boss, and then you hit him with Inner Fire. It's going to automatically pull that boss to you. Certain situations, the boss can be over taunted, but that's a conversation to have at a different time. You don't really have to worry about that, especially when you are not doing some switcheroony and other things. So Inner Fire, it's a must-have. And then really your flex spot. There's a couple different skills you can run here. For group utility, and especially as an off tank, if you're not holding the boss and you're not in really stamina expensive areas, you want to run this. I'm too high up to really see it, but it's a huge ring that gives you in your group 8% damage mitigation, just a flat 8%, which is huge. That's a lot. And also 10% stamina recovery, which is really nice. And the morph I'm using reduces the cost of dodge roll while you're inside the ring. Then we have, so another ability that we can run on the back bar is Talons. Dungeons, I use this all the time. Not so much trials. There's some situations, for example, the Cats and Maw, and a couple other very certain situations that this is nice. I like choking because it gives minor maim, which reduces the damage by 15%. Then we have Deep Breath. Deep Breath is really nice for Hell Raw and other abilities, especially top right boss. You can hit multiple adds and interrupt multiple adds at the same time. So this is also a must-have for Hell Raw. Then we go down and we have Shuffle. If you're running something like Tavas where you need Major Expedition to gain Ultimate, this is another skill that was nice to have. Then we go down. Blood Altar, yeah, you don't really need it. I run it in some dungeons if we're running all DPS and it's kind of a stack area. It's not really a must. Then we have Necro Orbs. This, I need to level it up. But this is just group utility that I use very situationally. It's just nice to throw out some more utility for the group because, again, you are a support role. And once you start figuring out mechanics and learning things, you're going to start seeing yourself, hey, I'm not really doing anything right now. You know what I mean? What can I do other than just res people and build ultimate? Oh, I can throw out some heals here. I can do some damage mitigation. There's many different things you can use. Rapid maneuver, speed runs. This is really nice. Also, the main thing most people see is in AA getting through the ice phase. It just helps the group out. It's nice to have. It's not, if you're hurting for skill points, it's not an absolute must, but eventually you should get it. Efficient Purge. There's nothing much to say about this skill other than you gotta have it, as if you're in any kind of halls of fabrication, whether that normal or vet, you have to have it. And Efficient Purge is a must. Our magic pool is not high enough to use regular Purge, but not just that, it's not small. I need to level it up more because it will reduce the cost even more. It's just a pain to level. Then we have Guard. Guard is really nice. Guard is great, whether you're main or off tank. I sometimes I like Stalwart Guard simply for the fact that if I have designated healers, there's no need to give Major Mending all the time to someone. Not Major Mending, but it increases healing done by 30%. So there's no need for that. And if you have designated healers, in my mind, in my opinion, but that's me, I like Stalwart because I like to run this on DPS when I can. This is going to help with DPS overall through critical strike, damage, minor force. This is nice to run on healers or other things in certain situations. That's all I have for tanking right now. And again, I do what I call stamina tanking. I don't do high health builds necessarily. So it just really depends on what you like to tank. That's the reason I set my balls up this way. So that's all for this video. I'm going to try to get out a couple other with armor and a couple other things for you guys. So I appreciate it.